Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the RTP NSBE College and Career Night. My name is Dr. Tony Arnold McFarland, and I am the president of RTP NSBE. I'm also one of the advisors for RTP NSBE Jr. And we're going to get started here momentarily. I just want to do a quick roll call and just kind of do a process check. Are you guys able to hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, Tony.
All right. And are you seeing the screen okay?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. All righty. And we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So this month, October, is RTP Torch Month, and Torch stands for Technical Outreach Community Help. Some of you may not be familiar with NSBE, so we'll give you a little bit of background about NSBE as an organization. But in Torch Month, we are focusing on Black Lives Matter. Our votes matter. We had a voting webinar earlier this week with information on voting. And if you still need that information, it is still available. We had a we supported a health event last night that was sponsored by the National Institute of Environmental Health and Safety. And tonight is Education Matters. We're following up with a walk for education, which we did in June. And we want to make sure everyone knows that our lives matter to us. And this is just kind of a little quick review of what I mentioned. We will have more activities coming up. So if you're new to the National Society of Black Engineers, I'm going to just take a few moments to give you an update on who we are and what we do. Um, and excuse me if you see some things on the screen because I'm also operating the door tonight as well. So the National Society of Black Engineers is the premier technical organization for Black engineering students and professionals. NSBE was founded in 1975 at Purdue University by who we call the Chicago Six. Now you'll see kind of a retro photo of over on the right of the original founders. All of them are not living. Some of them have deceased now. But why did they start NSBE? Because Black engineers matter as well. They recognize the disparities in education of Black freshman engineering students at Purdue. The dropout rate was 80%, and that was alarming. They took it upon themselves to do something about it. They started a movement. They reached out to engineering students at other predominantly white institutions to understand what was going on. They had a conference. They connected with the deans of the engineering schools. And today, as a result, we had the National Society of Black Engineers, and they also evolved that to a professionals chapter, which started out as the alumni extensions, and also NSBE Jr. Tonight, NSBE Jr. is hosting this event. NSBE Jr. was founded in 1990 to provide programs for youth in K through 12. Uh, those who officially join are in grades 3 to 12. When we talk more about that, if you are on and you're interested in joining, or you have a youth in your life that you would like to have join, NSBE does not discriminate. You do not have to be Black. You do not have to be an engineer to participate and benefit from the programs of NSBE. If you connect with the mission, which we will ask Jairus to read in a moment, then you are welcome to participate in any NSBE activities and programs. So RTP NSBE Jr., Research Triangle Proteges, was founded almost a year ago. We actually had a birthday on October the 6th. I almost forgot about that. We welcome you tonight. These are the officers of NSBE Jr. Jairus Cook, President. Breland McDonald is the Vice President. Jada Graham is Secretary. Ryan Hebert is Treasurer. And LJ Brandon is a Senator. And next, if Jairus is ready, I'm going to ask him if he would lead us in reading the NSBE mission. We are in person. We would ask everyone to stand and we would read this together. But since we are virtual, Jairus is going to read it for us tonight. Are you ready, Jairus?
Yes, I am. This mission is to increase the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact the community.
Thank you, Jairus. And I will note, you see at the bottom of the screen a goal. Our goal set 10 years ago was to graduate 10,000 Black engineers per year by 2025. And tonight we will understand why that is so important. So just a little virtual etiquette for tonight. We will have panelists, college students, and even some professionals who are on. This is an informal conversation. We want our middle schoolers and our high schoolers to be able to ask questions. Our NSBE Junior officers met about a month ago, and they said to me, Miss Tony, we want to be able to speak to college students so we can be prepared for college. Now, they were all in high school, the officers that I was speaking with. They said, we want to be able to know what it's like, ask them questions about the classes, why they chose the colleges they chose. You know, this is a new learning environment our students are in. It's virtual. So they don't have the luxury of visiting the college campus or doing a college tour in person and interacting with students as they normally would. Last year, we spent a lot of time having STEM fairs and STEM nights. And a lot of our NSBE Junior members got a chance to interact with college students and professionals because we were there together in person. But since we can't do that, we thought it would be great to bring that to you virtually. So with that being said, I would ask everyone else to stay muted unless we called on you to speak. If you have questions, please put those in the chat. Jairus and I will moderate tonight, and please be respectful of time. We may have to call time on some conversations because we want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to chime in. And please note, this session is being recorded because we want people who are not able to attend to hear the great conversation we're going to have tonight. So the first question I ask you, everyone, why is education important? Put your answer in the chat. And in a moment, I'm going to ask Jairus if he would read out some of those and help me out. As I go through the slides, he can take a look and manage the chat for me. Why is education important? Put that in the chat. Some of you may connect with the answers that we got from some of our NSBE Junior members. It prepares you for the workforce with relevant job skills. It provides social and economic opportunities that otherwise you may not have had. And it prepares people to face everyday life. So put your own answers in and we'll see what we have there. So Jairus, I'm going to pause for a moment. Do you have any answers there you want to share with us?
Yes, I do. So first one said it opens doors. Another one, education is important because it teaches you useful information.
Okay.
Um, you gain experience that you can have a career in the future. It opens your eyes to new challenges and new opportunities, and to build a foundation for continual learning.
That is exactly right. And I bet those are some of our students that actually put those answers in as well, because we have some pretty bright students. All right, so in a moment here, let me see if I can find this video really quickly. I hadn't planned on sharing it, but we do have a video that some of our NSBE Junior members put together. Let me see if I can find it really quickly here. This might be it here. Let's see. Hold on one moment. That's not the one. But they've shared for us their thoughts. Here we go. And why education is important to them. All right, it was queued up here, but I don't see it at the moment. I'll see if we can grab it before the end of the night. So Jairus, are there any other comments? on education?
There is one more that says that education is important because it will prepare you for life when you are grown. It, being knowledge, can never be taken away from you.
Excellent. All righty. Yeah, I will have to queue it up. I did have it, but looks like it is not playing. So we'll come back to that. In the meantime, we're just going to go back into our presentation. One thing that we have realized with RTP NSBE Jr. is that it's important for us to learn our history as well. Learning our history is education. It's self-education. It's self-discovery, and it inspires achievement. So one thing we focus on is making sure our participants are familiar with their own culture and also familiar with Black inventors and scientists. And we have some participants who have written essays and spoken about what they researched and what they learned. But what I want to get into before we dive into that a little bit more is our college roundtable. So what we want to do here is I'm going to ask participants. I'm not even sure who's all on the call, but I do know we have quite a few college students that have come tonight. And if they could go ahead and start putting in the chat. So if you're a college student or a young tech professional who I invited tonight, go ahead and put that in the chat. Just put in there your name. We'll see that college, major, classification, why you chose your college and your career, what has been your enjoyments about that decision and your challenges. I specifically want to make sure we get the college students on. And then we're going to kind of do what we call lightning rounds and have some of them talk about what they put in the chat. And while they're entering that, if you are a middle schooler or a high schooler and you see some information in the chat from someone who is currently a college student or attended a college that you're interested in going to, then you can make a connection with them. Maybe they're majoring in something you're interested in. Then you can connect with them privately in the chat. So right now, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to get that information in. And Jairus, when you see that populating, let me know and we'll pause and we will talk about what we have in the chat and who we have on. So just to kind of get everybody ready, I do have these in a certain order, but we can jumble it up. We just kind of base it on who is here already. Is Maya on yet? Maya, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Maya, do you want to come on camera so we can see your pretty face?
Of course. Give me one moment.
All right. Did you get camera ready? Now, I will say this. Now, I went to North Carolina State University, and if you're from North Carolina, because I do know we may have some participants on from other states. If you're from North Carolina, you'll know that North Carolina and North Carolina State are what? Rivals. But you know what? Maya is such a beautiful person. I'm going to allow Tar Heels to go first tonight. I've grown tremendously. So
Yes, we love that. We love that growth. Thank you so much, Miss Tony. First off, hi everyone. My name is Maya Logan. Right when you were calling me, I was typing my information in the chat. And I was like, oh, she called me. Let me stop.
Oh, okay.
So yes, but my name is Maya Logan. I am a quantitative biology major and public policy major at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Go Tar Heels. And I am from Spartanburg, South Carolina originally. So I am an out-of-state student. So I know I invited some of my South Carolina friends here, and y'all can send me a ping if you actually came.
Oops, sorry.
But yeah, so I just want to dive into a few things about Chapel Hill, a little bit about my background, and some qualifications that Chapel Hill looks for. Okay, so what I want to start off with, I know everyone's entering information about like themselves or different things, but I'd like to start with the question is, what is one thing you've heard about college? I know we have a lot of age ranges here today, but I'd love to know what's one thing you've heard about college. And you can unmute yourself to let me know, or you can just send it in the chat real quick.
Excuse me, I got a real quick question. Are we going to just talk about scholarships tonight?
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So, and just in the interest of time, I'll go ahead and just throw out some things I have heard about college when, as a freshman in high school, middle school. I heard that college was super hard. I heard that a lot of people who wanted to major in STEM never actually made it through the major. I heard that, you know, a lot of girls of color, Black girls specifically, never really graduated with any STEM background, could never make it in a STEM degree at college. So I came into UNC as the only Black female to graduate from my high school STEM cohort. And I was tremendously scared, you know, coming from South Carolina. Not a lot of schools were geared towards STEM education. So coming to North Carolina was a very different feel. And realizing that my school has a lot of avenues for minority empowerment in STEM, it really helped me. So first, I'd like to touch on some majors that UNC offers. So UNC is a liberal arts school that allows students to explore the intersection of STEM and humanities. So unlike North Carolina State and other colleges around North Carolina, UNC does not offer a lot of engineering majors. The only engineering major we offer is biomedical engineering. And so their real emphasis on this is to highlight the fact that their school is a liberal arts and it's really seeking to intersect the disciplines of STEM and humanities. So even though we don't have engineering schools, we do have applied sciences, computer science, biochemistry, quantitative biology, which that's my major, physics, and polymer chemistry. So those are just some STEM disciplines that UNC offers, and we are currently expanding our applied sciences to highlight more of the mechanical engineering, but it will not be called mechanical engineering, it'll still be called applied sciences. So just some demographics with UNC, the admission typically SAT is between a 1280 through 1470. The ACT scores are 29 through 33, and a GPA is 4.77. So out of all of those scores that I read out, I only met two of those scores. No, actually one of those scores. My GPA was really good in high school, but my SAT and ACT scores were not. And UNC was my reach school. So one thing I would say, as you're preparing for college, you should have a reach school. You should have colleges that you know that you can definitely get accepted into so that you can be able to have a nice range of acceptances and even waitlist offers. So UNC was a school I applied to that I just knew I probably wasn't going to get into just because of the statistics I brought, and being an out-of-state student made it even more harder. But here today, I'm received an admission into the Honors College where I received a full ride scholarship. And I know someone just asked about will we touch on scholarships. That's not my portion, but I will highlight that there are numerous scholarships out here. I received a full ride plus a full ride to Wake Forest University. So with that being said, I would say it's very important to start early in the scholarship process to look while you're a sophomore as early as you can in high school, because there's so many scholarships out there, especially for people of color and people of color majoring or have an interest in STEM. So back to UNC. Like I said, I was not the average student. The scores that I read out, I only met the GPA requirement. But what helped me is that I leveraged my leadership skills and extracurricular activities to help make my application more well-rounded. And that is what UNC is looking for. That's why they talk about in their admission process the importance of the liberal arts education, because you have so many students at UNC that are like me that have a STEM major, but also a more humanities second major. That's just because typically students are interested in science or interested in technology, but also have a passion for community service, activism, and different things like that, which on my case, that was me. So like I said, colleges want to see more than grades. And I like to highlight whenever applying to colleges, you need to be able to check off these three things. Were you involved in high school? And if you were involved, list those things prior to applying to colleges. So already have like a CV or a resume already developed so that you can be able to, when you fill out your college application, Common App is what you'll use, you're able to go right ahead and enter in your extracurriculars and the things you're involved in, either in high school or just in your community overall. And then with these programs or leadership activities you were involved in, how did you change or help it? Like, how did you help the organization? How did you change your community while being in that role or in that organization? And also, it's very important to highlight what is something that makes you stand out. You know, were you the president of the organization? Were you someone that was the treasurer? And it's important to, I would say, have a leadership role in an organization, but it's not the only thing, right? So you can be just a general member or representative, but if you were a strong general member, a strong representative, talk about that experience. Talk about how you worked with your president or your vice president or treasurer to help meet, you know, benchmarks and different things for your organization. So three things I just want to talk about real briefly. I know we're on a time crunch, but one, prepare for your college financially, right? So a lot of students, we're like, yes, let's go to college. It's very important and education is important, but financing education is even more important in my opinion. So be sure to, you know your avenues and always even think about community college. I have a lot of friends that started the community college route at UNC, and if you are a North Carolina resident, UNC has a great pipeline program from community college to 4-year, and typically these transfer students are matched with a mentor when they enter into their second year, their sophomore year, and they receive, mentorship, career opportunities, and different things to help acclimate them to campus. So that's one thing. I want our community to destigmatize the thought of going to community college, because community colleges are great. North Carolina community colleges are good too, and they do help prepare you for the 4-year route. And so specifically, like I mentioned, I applied to numerous scholarships. I started fairly early. I started my junior year, and I received a scholarship that was helping to cover like the cost of school and attendance and different things for UNC. So key thing is to prepare financially, and then second, become proficient at your story for college and scholarships. Like I said, UNC really looks for a well-rounded student. It's more than the grades, it's more than the numbers. And right now, even in this COVID environment, I know it's hard to get involved, but what you can do is right now we have election coming up. If you are able and well-bodied, and no harms, I'm saying, like, go out, and if you're sick, get involved. Not saying that, but if you're able to help with any type of volunteerism during this time, or if you're even able to do some social media activism, that's one thing I've been participating in, is social media activism. Get involved in any way that you can see fit right now, and remember what you did and how you could have changed your community by doing that, and always write that down. That's key when applying to college, even scholarships. You want to have a running list of all the things you've done, why you did them, and how they changed the organization or community you were involved in. And one thing I'd like to highlight is your background does not define who you are nor where you come from. As I mentioned, I am from rural South Carolina, and Tony and I are actually from the same place. So Spartanburg is a small town. I'm specifically from Roebuck, South Carolina, so even more rural. And I am a first-gen student. I'm Black, and I'm a female, and I received a full ride at a top university. So I say all of that to say, let your background be your asset. Don't let that ever define you or make you feel less than who you are, because you can use your background, your tools, your tool set and your toolkit to be able to make your application and anything that you apply to, either for college or scholarships, your asset. So with that being said, know that you are the definer of your life, and know that you're the definer of where you want to go. And it's important right now to recruit mentors and even if you can serve as a mentee to someone younger than you, to keep that, the cycle of mentorship going. This is really important right now. And yeah, so just real quick before I end, just want to highlight some programs that UNC has right now for Black people in STEM and Black people overall. So right now we have our NSBE chapter at UNC. We are currently active. We actually have an event coming up next week with Facebook. Facebook has partnered with us to recruit more computer scientists, and they asked for UNC's help. So they will be coming next week to our school to one, do a resume workshop, and two, talk about the internships and opportunities at Facebook. And we also have Blacks in pre-med. So I am on the pre-med track. I forgot to mention that, but I'm on the pre-med track. So I'm planning to go to medical school. So we have a heavy network of doctors at UNC and a heavy network of Black doctors. So we really utilize this in Black and pre-med, and I'm in the organization. So that's what we're currently working on, is to retain more Black women and more Black men in medicine. And I am currently the vice chairwoman of the Campus Equality and Student Equity. And what we're working on now is to recruit more Black males into UNC, because there is a statistic that that UNC does not retain Black men, and that is very true. So right now I'm working on this initiative to help improve that retainment process, and we are currently partnering with other organizations in North Carolina to continue this effort. And yeah, so that's pretty much that I have prepared tonight. I'm here for any questions if you want to, I'll drop my information in the chat, but I love UNC. UNC has been a great school to me. It is a great school. I'm talking like I graduated. It is a great school to me, and I'm appreciative of the things they have offered, but I will be open and honest about UNC is that, we have to work more on our diversity and recruitment initiatives. So that's why I'm happy tonight to talk about that and be upfront and, transparent about that. So yeah, but I'll be here if you have any questions, and I'll drop my information in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. I feel like we're gonna be campaigning together one day. I think you're gonna be running for office or something. We're gonna be working together. So anyway, any questions for Maya? And I know we have some more Tar Heels on. So if you are Tar Heel and you are a recent grad or student, go ahead and bring your camera on so we can see who all the Tar Heels are tonight. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but anyway, we can see who all the Tar Heels are tonight. I think Marcus is up here too. He's a recent grad.
Hey, Marcus! Oh my
Hello,
gosh,
hello.
me and Marcus, we're on gospel choir together. Oh my
gosh! Hey, Maya definitely covered a ton of great information in her presentation. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to drop here in this chat this program also called Project Uplift that pretty much takes you from the high school environment and kind of places you in the UNC environment. It's just a great networking opportunity for minority students as well. However, I don't know how it's kind of looking right now with COVID and all these different situations, but definitely a great program.
It's looking really great, Marcus.
It's looking good.
It's looking really good. I'm so sorry I forgot to talk about that, y'all. I wasn't involved with Project Uplift because I was out of state, so I didn't have that opportunity. But yeah, Marcus, talk about it, because they did it. They made it virtual this summer, and so they had a high amount of students from like rural North Carolina to participate, and I got to talk to some of them, so it's definitely going on.
Oh yes, absolutely. Then, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and drop a little tidbit inside the chat if anybody wants to kind of look through the chat and see any missed talking points or anything of that.
How do students get involved in it? Like, is it something you start in high school or summer?
Yeah, you're a junior in high school, and you typically go. Is it that summer coming into your junior year, Maya?
Yes, it's the summer coming into your junior year, and you can do Project Uplift Plus, and I believe you stay like for 2 months rather than like the 1 week. But yeah, you can clarify that. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Project Uplift Plus. I don't know if it's 2 months, but definitely a longer span of time that you get to spend on UNC campus. And actually,
is it for all majors?
Eric, say it again.
Is it for all majors?
Yeah, all majors,
okay.
All majors, and all minorities. So like anybody, you could be Black, Asian or any
People of
minority
color.
ethnicity, just people
Okay.
of color. So yeah, I would definitely look into that. And as a matter of fact, Nyerick, Nyerick, he is actually helping kind of put that together and things of that nature. So he's
Okay.
also a great contact as well.
And Marcus, tell everybody your major, what you're doing now, and a little bit about.
Absolutely. So I had the pleasure of becoming a UNC graduate December of 2019. Kind of. Hey, listen, but I was biomedical engineering, so technically NC State is sending me stuff too. So, I definitely had the pleasure of getting out of there December 2019. Although COVID kind of came and swooped everything up and kind of made my life a little bit more difficult as far as job situation and even looking at like grad school situations as well. I'm here now. I finally just accepted a job offer at Johnson & Johnson. And so I'll be a clinical specialist out there, pretty much a right-hand man to heart surgeons. So that'll be really, really fun for me. And just definitely looking forward to it. And it's just a blessing that I've gotten this far. As far as UNC, I love it. It's one of those campuses, and I can't really say this about every campus that I've seen and visited, but it's one of those campuses that you can really feel free to be yourself. And all the activities that you do, it's like you have your own paintbrush and you're painting your own canvas. So that's definitely something that I do enjoy about UNC Chapel Hill.
Wonderful. Okay. So let me see what questions we got. Anybody, you can just come up if you want to just kind of take a moment and ask questions to Maya or Marcus. Feel free to do so. I'm just kind of looking in the chat to see what I see. You guys did a great job. I mean, this is very good information.
And one thing I'd love to add about just UNC overall, it's like how Marcus said, you can make it your own path. When everyone always asks me about my major, they're like, quantitative biology, public policy, where did you get that from? Well, I love genetics and I am interested in computer science and I love community activism. So I'm like, why not? And
right.
So now I do like a lot of work with NSBE, but I'm a senator. So I do a lot of work on the Senate side for UNC, and with the commission, we're always rolling out something new. So you can really carve your own path.
Excellent. And it's interesting that you say that. This week I got a chance to go to an artificial intelligence conference. Thanks to NSBE, we got some free passes to go. And one thing that is going to be, I would say, a new concern of now is making sure that we don't have bias in artificial intelligence. So having the social sciences and someone who can understand the genetics and the biological science and the clinical science, having that as well as the data science together is a new need, because we want to make sure that the data that we're using to research the coronavirus and anything else that comes around does not have bias in it. So there are some new disciplines that are being created as a result of artificial intelligence and just many of the factors that are taking place today. So, all right. Well, thank you, both of you, Tar Heels. I'm not going to say go Heels, but I am. Go Heels. Y'all did really great. I'm proud of you both. Appreciate
lovely.
you.
It sounds lovely coming out your mouth.
Like, I can't even believe I'm saying it. I want to just like, anyway.
Hey, it may taste like vinegar, but it sounds sweet to us.
I sure do.
Exactly.
Tastes like lemons, actually. All right. Well, with that being said, let me see if we want to move on over to NC State for a minute. And if you have questions for either of them, please go ahead and put those in the chat, and you guys can continue to chat with them. And I actually I'm gonna take a route. We're gonna take a turn. I'm gonna go not too far from my house, and we're gonna go down Western Boulevard, and we're gonna go by NC State. So who do we have on the call tonight for North Carolina State University? If you are from North Carolina State University and you are a student or a professional, even, and you want to just kind of take a couple of minutes to give us the spiel of why you went to North Carolina State University, what you liked about it, what you majored in, and if you're a student now, how was that? And if you've recently graduated, What has that transition been like? So who do we have on the call tonight that can speak on North Carolina State University?
Hey Tony, this is Fatima.
Hey, Fatima, how are you?
I am doing good.
Okay, wonderful. Let me see, who else did we have? Who else? Let me just kind of get a quick glance. Kiara's there. I see Kiara. Kiara, you on?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Awesome. And I see D. Alex. Okay, the Wolfpack is represented.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Awesome. Okay. All right. If I missed anybody, it could be some others I just have missed or not aware of, but this is Wolfpack time. Okay. So I'm gonna, you know what? We'll start with. I'll let Kiara and D. Alex kick it off, and then Fatima, we'll come back to you because you've already graduated. So Kiara and D. Alex, you're students now. So talk to us a little bit about NC State and what you like about it and what you're majoring in.
All right. Alex, you want to go first? You want me to go?
Okay, I'll just introduce myself. So, hey guys, my name is Alex Thomas. Obviously I go to NC State University. I'm currently a senior in mechanical engineering. And one of the reasons I chose NC State University was because it's obviously, a little bit close to home for me. I'm actually from Wake Forest. I'm not sure if anybody knows what it is. But yeah, so I chose it because I had a really strong interest for engineering, but I wasn't exactly sure which one I wanted to go into. And so basically, I know that NC State actually had this program that was called it was like their undecided program, exploratory studies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and do that route. And I know that's not necessarily engineering, but I was able to explore a whole lot about just the different majors that are in engineering, because there's a whole lot at NC State. And so I was able to just do a lot of exploring there, and I ended up settling on mechanical. And so, yeah, that's one route. Also, it's a little bit less competitive too. So again, it's definitely a good route, I think, if you're not exactly sure which engineering you want to do, and you want to have some more time to explore. But yeah, I've really loved my experience here so far. We have a whole lot of access to resources. There's I know the library, you can rent out just about any kind of technology you want. So there's a lot of really good resources here. We have the career fair as well. I'm sure you guys have heard of that. And so NC State's a really good choice. I really do. I really have enjoyed my time here. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Kiara can talk a little bit about her experience as well.
Yeah, so I am a senior in industrial and systems engineering. I graduated in December. It's my 5th and final year. So I actually came to NC State because of the experience I had from coming. My junior year, I came for a visit. Then my senior year of high school, I came for another visit. And I actually met the minority engineering program here. That's Angelica Daniel and Kim Pender. And when I came, there was another member that was a part of the organization as well. But they helped a lot with kind of getting me to see what being a minority engineer at NC State is like. And the minority engineering program is basically a huge family. So I call Miss Angie my college mother. So whenever I'm at school, she's basically my mom away from home. I'm from Kannapolis, North Carolina, which is near Charlotte, so I'm not too far from home. But I didn't have a car when I came here, so 2 hours away was pretty far for me because I can't walk. I can't take no bus or nothing like that. But yeah, that was my initial reason for coming, was the fact that I felt like I was part of a family and they didn't even know me. Just sitting down and having somebody talk to me like they are a part of, like I'm already a part of the family. And that was a great experience. For me, NC State has brought me a lot of opportunities and has kind of helped me grow a lot. I'm a first generation student, which means that my parents didn't go to college. So I didn't know a lot about college, and I didn't know a lot about navigating college or being on my own. And I was able to join the TRIO program here at NC State. And TRIO is for first gen and low income minority students. And from there, they give you a mentor, they give you an academic coach. And throughout my years, they just helped to make sure that I always have somebody to talk to. And whenever I had any type of problems, I always had somebody to reach out to. The NSBE chapter at NC State is strong as well. They are a family to me. And I think that's one of the biggest things that NC State gives me is that family aspect, that feeling that I have somebody to go to, and not just within minority engineering, but within multiple different organizations that are on campus. And I don't know if Alex had the same experience, but there's a lot of organizations that you can join at NC State, and there's a lot of ways to find people that you connect with. As a large campus, many different type of people.
Just piggybacking off of that, there's just a whole lot of programs and just a whole lot of clubs and a whole lot of opportunities at NC State. And so that's another thing, like I was saying, just access and opportunities. They just have a whole bunch of like I always like to say, there's something for everybody. So there's just a whole bunch of opportunities there, and yeah, just a lot of things, especially for like minorities and Black people specifically. So.
And similarly to Chapel Hill, there's also a program, but it's for students that have already been admitted. They also have a overnight stay. I don't know how you can stay overnight COVID now, but there was an overnight stay for seniors that had applied to NC State. And they get the chance to stay the night with NC State students, and kind of like follow them throughout the day to their classes. And then there was also a program that is summer transition program, which I believe they merged with the START program now. But it was a summer program where you can come to NC State early, and that's what I did. So I came the summer before my freshman year, and I actually took some classes before I actually started school. And it kind of gave me a chance to dive into that transition from high school to college without it being large scale. So that once I got here my freshman year, it was a lot easier to transition because I actually had a feel of campus and I had a feel of what it takes to study and learn and figure out how these classes are so much different from high school classes. So wherever you go, I encourage trying to spend some time to go to the college, spend some time to sit in a class, maybe if you know someone that goes there, get a feel of what college is like before you take that big step.
Yeah, also, I know with COVID and everything, it's kind of hard to go to like sit-in classes and things like that. So honestly, a good resource to use is like just YouTube, right? Just go on YouTube, just look up, my experience with, I know my friend does videos on NC State. There's people who do like UNC, a lot of places around here. So just Google and just do a little bit of research, just see what the culture is like at the university you're interested in. So that's just a good alternative for if you can't actually go in person.
All right. Do we have any questions for Alex or Kiara? I know we have some people who have told me they're interested in NC State or they're interested in industrial engineering or mechanical engineering. Any questions for any of them, either of them? All right. If you do have some, please feel free to go ahead and keep those coming in the chat. I will say that I went to NC State 2 years ago. Like I started there in 1987, a very long time ago. I don't even think, Alex and Kiera would even thought of then. But anyway, that your stories sound very similar to mine. Like it was like a family for me as well. And when I came to visit the school, I kind of like fell in love with just the camaraderie, and they had the mentoring program. And I was kind of concerned about being at a big school and not having, a lot of Black people there. I was like, am I going to be treated right? Are there going to be issues? I really had a great experience. I don't think I would change anything about it. I looked at PWIs and HBCUs. I looked at both of them. And this is what I always tell students: you're gonna be Black wherever you go. So either you're gonna be Black in school or you're gonna be Black in college. It's gonna be the same. So we need all of those experiences, like we really do. And because NC State is in Raleigh, what I really like the fact is there are so many schools here. Like I have friends at every campus: NC State, Central. My college roommate came from my hometown. Like we had an apartment together. She went to North Carolina Central, I went to NC State. So we were like at every school on the weekend. We was at any school. So even if I didn't take classes there, I was able to still, get the experiences of various campuses in the area. So the location I thought was great. And that's why I'm still here. I'm just right down the road, still in the area. All right. So we did have some technical difficulties. If people get knocked out or you get kicked out, I am actually trying to join you back in. Zoom was hanging up there for a minute, so I do appreciate your time and patience with that. I'm gonna choose some people because you guys have been a little quiet. Andre, I'm gonna pick on you for a minute because I know you're actually interested or thinking about mechanical engineer. Do you have any questions for the Alex?
No, I don't have any questions as of now. I'm just soaking all the information.
Okay, soaking up the information. Great, great, great. Fatima, you want to go ahead and talk a little bit? Fatima went to North Carolina State University as well, and we are coworkers now.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is
Fatima.
Fatima. I attended NC State from 2013 to 2017. I majored in electrical and computer engineering. When I got to state, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. In fact, I didn't really know much about engineering. But the Alex and kind of like people have mentioned that NC State minority program is really, really good. For me, I did work with Miss Angie and Keisha a little, but I also worked with Dr. Laura Bottomley a lot. She was very interested in retaining women in engineering, especially electrical engineering. I had attended one of her classes, and I guess she saw I was struggling and was kind of like debating whether to leave engineering. So she kind of like took me under her wing and kind of mentored me to like help me kind of like get that confidence that I belonged. But also while at NC State, I became a Caldwell Fellow. For those of you that are interested in NC State, it's a scholarship fellowship program that you apply your freshman year. And it's a service-based fellowship. It was named after one of the chancellors, John Caldwell, and is based on servant leadership. So those aspects and minor in engineering kind of like made NC State my home. I love it so much that after I left and became a professional at John Deere, I decided to go back for more. Last year, I started my grad school at NC State while also working full time. So I take one class a semester, and hopefully in like 5 years, I will finish my master's.
And where are you working now? What are you doing?
Oh, sorry, I forgot that part. All right, I work with the lovely Tony. I work in John Deere Cary as a software engineer. I started John Deere through the engineer rotational program. When you guys hopefully are about to graduate college, there are phenomenal rotational programs all over in different industries that if you don't know straight out of college what you want to work on, it's a 2-year program in most cases where you get to try different roles and see what you like. So I entered the DM1. I did my first rotation like as an electrical engineer. I did my second one as like a test engineer. And then after that, I accepted full-time position in software engineering.
All right. Anybody have questions for Fatima? And sorry that I'm multitasking because there's some people who are not able to get in the meeting from cell phones, so I'm having to send them the link. Any questions for Fatima?
Hey, Tony, this is Jonathan.
Yes.
Hey, this is to Fatima. What were some of your experiences? What advice would you give some of the other students who could be interested in that type of program to be successful?
So one thing I regretted was that in high school and stuff, I wasn't involved in different outreach. So first robotics, like the Science Olympiads, a lot of those give you like that technical skill. And also if you have passed that point like me and you find yourself as a freshman in college, take advantage of programs like organizations like SWE and NSBE. Definitely, I think a lot of people just underestimate the importance of a support group, whether it's just a group of friends you do homework with, or it's a professor that becomes your mentor. Having that support system, that on days when you doubt yourself that you can do engineering, that the classes are too hard, they kind of help keep you grounded, that, hey, this is for you. Even though you don't see a lot of people with your face, you are just as capable. You just have to hang in there a little while the iron is hot, but there are people around that want to cheer you on and kind of like help you go. You just have to ask for help and be like willing and open to receive that help, whether it's through tutoring for technical things like homework and stuff, or it's for career advice.
Very good point, Fatima. That is one thing that I recognize with the minority community is we are waiting late to get involved in extracurricular activities, and it does make it more challenging and more difficult for college, especially if you're going into STEM careers. So if you are a parent tonight, or you have younger brothers and sisters or relatives, if they're in middle school and they're not getting involved in whatever it is they're interested in that will potentially become their career, whether that's math, science, STEM items, whether that's going to be arts, whether that's going to be music, they need to be getting involved in that by middle school and actually getting kind of consistent with it and doing that thing pretty regularly, because in just a couple of years, they'll be in the ninth grade. And college application readiness starts with what you do in the ninth grade. So I just want to make sure people are hearing that what you do in the ninth grade is going to count towards your readiness for college. They're looking at your grades in the ninth grade. They're looking at what you are involved in the ninth grade. So basically, in middle school, that means you need to start kind of defining what that's going to be, and then evolving into a more in-depth appreciation and discipline in it between middle school to high school. So great points from both of you, from all of you actually. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is, I think what we'll do one more school and then we'll take a little break, and we'll do Wake Tech and we'll do Duke. So I'm going to see if there's anyone on the call from North Carolina A&T State University. Do we have any Aggies on tonight? Any Aggies out there?
Hello, Ms. McArnold. It's Joshua Grinnell here.
Hey, Joshua. How's it going?
It's going well. It's been a long
Excellent.
7 interviews this week, but glad to hop on the call.
Oh, wow. Well, I appreciate you taking time to participate. And I know we have some college Aggies. I know we have some new professional Aggies and some, I won't say old professional, some senior professional Aggies on it as well tonight. So
So,
go
just
ahead.
pride. Yeah, I was saying, can I get an Aggie pride?
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Excellent. Go ahead, Joshua.
So hello, everyone. My name is Joshua Grinnell. I'm a senior mechanical engineering student at the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, and currently serve as our chapter's NSBE president. I'd like to start off by saying A&T is a great school, but to give you all some advice my 100 Black men mentor gave me when I was applying to college: you got to treat college like you treat a spouse. If they don't want you as much as you want it, it's not worth going, because there's nothing worse than fighting an uphill battle or against a gravitational pull. So no matter where you apply, make sure, if you're in the application process now, try to reach out to someone at every school. But for those younger cats along down the line, visit every school and do not apply if it doesn't feel like it's home. Because what you want your decision to really come down to is, who's giving me the money to go, and who costs me the least amount of money, because you want to be happy at everywhere you apply. So I applied to 7 schools. I had friends who applied to 26. It really shouldn't be a difference. You really should know everywhere you want to apply, and that's where it gets interesting. I know for A&T, I love going because it allowed me to kind of discover a lot of what I'm interested in, as well as, sorry, I'm on call at the moment, but let me just mute my phone. But yeah, it allows you to discover everything you want to do, and it puts a very big emphasis on, I would say, personal accountability and responsibility. So where as other institutions, it may be a little more structured, A&T has everything when it comes to you're being surrounded by people in your own community, and there's a lot of opportunities to develop. It's a new experience for me. I came from a predominantly white community, so it allowed me to interact more with the culture. But one thing I do have to say in A&T, there is a high availability in the quality of student you can be, but every opportunity is offered to you as long as you're willing to go and get it. So for me, I've traveled the world. I've interned and worked for 3 different companies, and now I'm in the process of applying to a multitude of rotational programs to where I can just throw my resume in and then interviews on the spot. And through the connections I have from going to not only an HBCU, but A&T, there is an Aggie at every company, so it makes the networking very easy. And I think that's my pitch for A&T. One thing that the last person spoke on is just getting involved in early extracurriculars early. I know I did first robotics throughout my years in high school, and I did some independent research. But if those aren't unique opportunities you have access to, one thing to show your technical background, which one of my friends did, is working at places like Best Buy, Office Depot, or even like the automotive shops, just something that's technically aligned. You can get a lot of the background you need there, because some of my friends actually use that experience to not only get into college, but fund their college, because they learn a lot of those basic skills they need, which helps them in their classes and also helps them make money on the side. So small pitch, go work in some technical, if you have a job, I would say try to align that best with technical interests. So like if you're an electrical engineer, go work at Best Buy, Gig Squad to learn how to fix phones, do all that stuff, because it makes a difference when you're applying to those internships later at these companies. And you can say, I worked on your product at a lower level, now I want to get into the high level. And another point on scholarships, I currently go as well with the full ride, and that was just through me more of, I did the networking early. So when it comes to, there's 2 approaches to scholarships, which you should do both. So with the general funding, you apply. Anything you apply for, even if you don't technically meet all the applications. Even so, when it says need-based, I just want to tell you that's not always true. It is kind of a suggestion, because a lot of people don't apply to these scholarships and they really need to get this money because of tax exemption purposes. So just keep applying, and it's really a numbers game. On the other hand, when it comes to school-specific scholarships, if you can track down the person who runs those scholarship opportunities, especially if you're a year out, it's a lot easier to communicate with them and then see who they work for. And the more you communicate that with them, they can connect you with certain people already in the scholarship program, and they can help you tailor your essays, prepare for the interview. You may even meet someone who's on the interview committee. And so just getting those connections in early with the schools you want to go to makes the whole process easier. Also, A&T does have, I think, the largest career fair engineering career fair in the state of North Carolina. So a lot of opportunities to connect with companies and build your future. Any questions for me? And I know there's other A&T students if you want to speak.
You guys are so good. I mean, people don't have any questions. You're answering everything. Craig, are you on? I think I saw Craig Fitzpatrick on. Craig? You're on mute if you're speaking, Craig.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you now. How's it going?
Everything's going well. How are you?
I'm doing good, Aggie.
You want me to come on with the video?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
You can do it live. Do live video. Go to kind of give us a live feel of why you like A&T and what your experience has been like?
Well, at first I was actually going to go to NC State, and
What?
it was between NC State and A&T.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest with you, A&T was the best decision I ever made. Um, Not only did I experience having a great college career or just having a great time at the university, the opportunities that came from attending North Carolina A&T State, and the experience and the memories that I have at A&T State has by far been one of the best experiences I have had since being at any college. Because I first started off a at a community college, and so being at the community college, then adjusting to A&T, and then engineering on top of that, um, was a great experience. And it was troubling at sometimes. I didn't get into A&T the first time, but working hard and making sure I stayed in the books and took out time to learn. Because at A&T, I can tell you one thing about A&T is that we're a community. It's a big community. Now it is going to get competitive, steel sharpens steel, but at the same time, we're there for one another when it comes down to either internship, full-time employment, co-ops, anything that to push us forward, we're there. My adjustment wasn't hard coming from a community college. The funny thing about it was the workload at the the community college, excuse me, was actually pretty intense compared to A&T. A&T, basically they prepare you, they give you the tools that's necessary, and the professors there, they are very, very how can I say, hands-on. So if you have any issue or with the work or anything of that nature, there's probably a group chat that you can join that explains it, or a site that you can go, or a professor that you can see that can help you, understand whatever topic they might be discussing in class, or might help you understand that software that, is being used in the industry. Yeah, so the scholarships at North Carolina A&T, there's a wide variety. So the school itself offers scholarships, and then not only do they offer scholarship, your department, they have their scholarships as well. Did I receive a transfer scholarship? No, I did not receive a transfer scholarship from North Carolina A&T, but there's actually some scholarships that are out there from other organizations that I actually received. So I received a scholarship from an organization called HBCU Living Legends, and that helped me finance myself through school, because I've personally had to finance myself through school. I didn't have, my mother, my father, and like things of that nature. I had to go and come up with ways and, get jobs and take out some loans in order to finance myself. But after, I'm a senior, so after all of that, I will say that, it was worth it. The going out here and having that full-time offer and getting those interviews and being able to be flown out to different places and experience the world, it's worth it.
All right. That's great. I would just add this, and I can't stress this anymore. There are a lot of scholarships that do not get awarded because students have not applied. And if I could do it all over again, I would have spent more time looking for scholarships. I had to pay back about $40,000 in student loans. And I think now the average is about 60,000, something like that. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know, for some reason the screen went blank, but yeah, the scholarships piece is huge. You can go online, and in a moment I'm going to show a slide that has some of that information on it. If you are a parent, it is in your best interest to do this for your child. If they don't want to do it, because it's going to save you money in the long run. So definitely take the time to do this. I do have a friend who was able to get $90,000 worth of scholarship for her son from March to June of the year that he graduated. And they did scholarships like every day, like it was a part-time job. He applied for about 20, and I want to say he got 7 of the ones that he applied for. And there's people who are getting $1 million worth of scholarship. That doesn't mean the student is going to get $1 million. It means that they have received that many. And in schools, now you guys help me with this one. If you get like, 10,000 more than what you really need, does the school still award that to you? Or, you have to get that back? How does that work, Joshua?
Okay, I can clarify. So at A&T and a lot of schools I know are moving over to this, there is a refund check system. However, if your money is going to the school, and this is like why I have to be very careful with scholarships, there's a certain allowance of refunds you can get. And so the school will start decreasing your school aid to minimize that cost.
Okay.
It doesn't work the same at every school, but the way to avoid this is like NSBE scholarships have done a unique thing to where they are cash only, directly paid direct deposit, which I love applying for because even though I can afford school, I still sometimes need a little help here and there.
Right.
So that's a good way to do it.
Okay. And some people have put in the chat, it depends on your school. North Carolina Central returns, but UNC Chapel Hill will not. So I see that in the chat. And then also it looks like Jairus wants to know, what are some classes high schoolers can take to prepare for engineering classes in college?
I would say whatever for all engineers, try to take at least Calc 1 by the time you graduate if you can, and then retake it when you get into college, just to get them out of the way, because it's real good to take your gen eds. Oh, like if you can, get English out of the way as soon as possible, but like take dual enrollment or AP English, but for your math and sciences, try to take the highest level possible, then retake them in college so you can get that strong foundation and a nice, smooth, easy 4.0 your first 2 semesters.
Okay, and I also see that someone is mentioned in the chat. There is a Stokes educational program that is run for high school seniors and provides up to $30,000 a year in tuition and year-round salary to those entering college. That's some really good information. If you could put that in the main chat for everyone to see, and that link. I'm not familiar with that program, but hold that thought. I do want to go ahead and bring Joshua on, and then we're going to switch and we're going to have Al come and speak about Wake Tech and the programs that they offer there. So we're going to take a quick turn, and I'm going to drive over to the Durham Freeway and go down to, I forget the name of the street, but we're going to go by Duke University. So Josh, are you on? It's another Joshua. Are you on, Josh?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask Josh if he would talk to us now. Josh is actually a graduate student. I'll let him say a little bit more about that, because some of the college students on tonight might actually be interested in grad school. So this is a good opportunity for you to even talk with him and get his insight on grad school as well. So go ahead,
Right.
Joshua, introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Joshua Curtin. I am a third-year PhD student or PhD candidate at Duke University, studying environmental engineering. I did my undergrad at University of Connecticut in Storrs, Connecticut. I'm originally from the Hartford, Connecticut area. I guess my perspective is a little bit different, being that I'm a grad student. So I've only seen Duke in grad student light. So I don't necessarily know too much about the undergraduate process, more so how funding works in undergraduate and different things like that. However, I can definitely speak to my experience being at Duke. It's definitely been a positive experience. PhD life can be pretty tough, but I definitely enjoy my advisor here at Duke. I definitely enjoy the different other opportunities that Duke does offer, whether that's through travel, different financial support that they do have for graduate students. For example, being a student within Pratt, so Pratt is our School of Engineering. You are guaranteed funding for 5 years throughout your PhD. Within Pratt, we offer biomedical engineering, electrical and computer engineering, environmental and civil engineering, and then I am blanking on the last one, but we don't have chemical at Duke. So coming from a large state school like UConn to Duke, one of the big differences is that Duke engineering is very, very, very theoretical. So one of the things that I have noticed, especially with the undergraduate course, is that they essentially basically prepare the students more so to go into graduate programs the way that they teach and how they teach. So it's a lot different, especially Duke being private. So it doesn't have all necessarily the same state contracts. And I'm speaking from like a civil engineering lens, as for example, NC State or A&T does. So there's that. For me, as being in environmental engineering, graduate student, I think Duke has a lot of opportunities for me, and I've definitely taken advantage of, being that we have a really, really top tier environmental law program, as well as we have our Nicholas School, which is our environmental school. So oftentimes we do collaborate between the two to make sure our research does get out there and we're able to help disadvantaged communities throughout North Carolina. You all are probably familiar out with the hog cases out in Duplin County and Sampson County out there with the hog waste and different things like that. Coal ash stuff that we do up in throughout the state of North Carolina, different things like that. All of that is again intertwined with you having researchers work on it. So doing different toxicity assays, doing different ways in which we can help to remediate those things, as well as having more so of a justice lens, as well as a law lens, all kind of forming together. From my experience being a transplant from Connecticut coming down to North Carolina, I definitely think Duke can be a bubble. Being honest, I feel like if I wasn't the person I was, I could go 5 years at Duke and not really interact with the Durham community. But I definitely try to involve myself with, again, RTP NSBE, my graduate chapter of Alpha, and different things like that, even my gym, different things like that, to really get to know the Durham community, get to know people in North Carolina and kind of what their perspectives are. So that's just a little bit about me. If there's any specific questions, I can kind of answer those also.
All right, anybody, any of the college students, if you're thinking about grad school, any questions for Joshua?
I know like a couple of you all on here already, so I know Marcus and Joshua and
Okay,
and Kira. So
awesome. Yeah, and now Joshua is a rare breed. You don't find too many, first of all, you're not going to find too many Blacks with a graduate level degree. You're not going to find too many with a PhD. You're not going to find too many Black men. So we should take a picture of him. We need to put him in a museum. And that's sad because we need more minorities getting graduate degrees, advanced degrees. Fatima's getting one. So that's just kind of forethought for those of you who are in college now. And I know you're just focusing on, and let me just get this first degree. It is
Right.
important to continue to stay relevant and to continue to grow in your career as a professional. You'll probably work 20 to 30 years. So you definitely have to always be learning and ready to do more.
Right. And I will say one thing again about me being at Duke and being in the research triangle is that there are a lot of young Black professionals who are also getting degrees. I feel like that's one of the unique things about that the triangle does have that a lot of areas in the country don't have. So that was another reason what really kind of sold me on Duke was, again, being this close to the EPA. We have an EPA location out in RTP. And again, collaborative efforts between Duke and UNC, Duke and NC State, Duke and A&T. Those collaborations you can't really get a lot of places across the country. So
Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to. I know we're gonna. I have somebody I'm trying to get in the chat here in they're in the waiting room and try to get them in. But anyway, I'll keep working on that. What I'm gonna do next is ask Al. Al, are you ready? Are you there? Al Leeson?
I am.
Al is actually coming to us, and he's going to share a little bit more. He's actually from Wake Tech College. I'm making it a university already. We already started something new, Al. And as a matter of fact, this is a one of the best kept secrets in North Carolina, I would say, that a lot of students have started to realize, especially during this time where virtual, college is what we have, and people are, going to college in their living room. So they're looking at the option of going to school through the community college system. I'm going to let Al talk more about that, and I'm going to give him a little screen time here too. Al, did you have something you want to share?
I do have a PowerPoint. If
Sure. Are you able to share it? Is it allowing you to share? Hold on,
it says right now I can't.
Okay, hold on one second.
Yep.
Let me do something on my side here to give you the rights. Okay, try that now.
All right. Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can find it.
Okay. And as Al is bringing that up, I will mention this too. If you are a student at North Carolina Central University, Shaw University, Meredith College, Wake Tech, we're actually, Central, you already have a NSBE chapter, but we're actually looking at having what we're calling a connected collegiate community. We realize that there are some colleges who don't necessarily have enough students yet interested to maintain and sustain a NSBE chapter. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to start a community chapter. We checked into that. You have to actually start at a university, and all the students have to be from the same school. But in the interim, those students can join NSBE as a member at large so that you can still benefit from the scholarships, the networking, the conferences, and having exposure to the companies that will help you launch your career. So if you are from, like I said, Wake Tech, Shaw University, Meredith, and if I'm missing anything, if you're at Campbell University, they're actually in the process of hopefully getting the NSBE chapter. But please drop something in the chat if you're from one of those schools and you are interested in participating in what I'm going to call RTC, Research Triangle Collegiates. It's not a chapter, it's just a community group so that we can pull together college students who don't have a NSBE chapter at their school. You still need to be able to benefit from being a member at large, meaning that you would have information on career fairs and you can network with the students who are in the area. So Al, go ahead and take it away.
Outstanding. This has been a really good conversation. Just to give you a little information about myself, my name is Al Leaston. As Tony said, I want to say, Tony, I appreciate the opportunity to speak. It's been interesting to hear the A&T, North Carolina State and Chapel Hill. I attended A&T as a freshman and then transferred to NC State, graduated from State. I have a master's in information systems. And then after I obtained my master's, I went into IT for about 15 years and worked at several companies in RTP. I did some consulting work for IBM, Cisco, GlaxoSmithKline, various companies. And then around 2015, around 2010, I started teaching and had a real passion for teaching. So that's why I'm really excited about being involved in an Education Matters opportunity, because I really believe education matters and can really transform lives. And around 2015, I started working as the director for the network management program at Wake Tech after spending about 10 to 15 years as a network engineer. So it was something that was really appealing to me. I'm gonna try to make this PowerPoint as quick as possible, just to give you a little information about Wake Tech and some of the opportunities there in the IT division specifically. So in Wake Tech's IT division, we have about 13 different degree programs. As you see here, everything from business analytics to web design to cybersecurity and network management. I'm a director of the network management, so that's near and dear to my heart. So that's probably the one I will focus on the most. So let me see. So what network management is? Network management is fairly new, somewhat new. you know, it's really just refers to, you know, managing computers and things of that nature. We try to make sure our students know what a network engineer is. There's certain engineering professions like computer engineer, network engineer, that really haven't been around for that long. So I try to really make sure people know what a network engineer, what a computer engineer is, and kind of some of the opportunities there for those particular careers. But just to give you some information about the network management career at Wake Tech, or excuse me, degree at Wake Tech specifically, it's an Associate of Applied Science. It's a 2-year degree, and it's roughly 65 credit hours. And during that, this is one of our classrooms here, we have numerous diplomas and certificates in that degree program. So one thing I try to tell all students is when you go off, when you decide to go to a community college, make sure you know if the program's an associate's degree or an applied associate's degree, because you want to make sure you know which program you're getting into and some of the things like that. So with our particular program, we partner with Cisco. So during our networking program, a lot of students receive certifications, which are really big in the industry. So we offer that. We also have several partnerships, and that's something I mentioned earlier. We currently have a partnership with East Carolina, a strong partnership with East Carolina, simply because they have a similar network engineering program. They're also a Cisco Academy. So what I found is a lot of students who go to East Carolina, what they'll do is come back home to Raleigh or various areas, and they might take classes at Wake Tech because it's cheaper, and then transfer them back to East Carolina in order to save money. We also just started a partnership with North Carolina A&T, an articulation agreement. Literally a few months ago, we just finished and was signed off on. But it's important, if you do decide to go to a community college, that you find out the agreements that program has in place. For one reason is because you can always transfer to a community college, but you want to make sure that when you transfer to the school you want to go to, that most of your credits transfer. And that's why those articulation agreements are important. I think in our particular program, we sat down with North Carolina A&T, ECU, and out of the 65 credits in our program, I think there was maybe just one that they wouldn't accept. So again, it's almost a 2 for 2. Like you would take 65 hours and go to A&T or ECU with 63 or 62, which is really good. So that's one thing I try to make sure everybody knows. And I want to make sure I also say that is just for my specific program. I know at Wake Tech, we also have an associate's in engineering. In that particular degree program, there are a lot more pathways. There's pathways to NC State, A&T, Campbell, ECU, Western Carolina. So that's one thing I try to tell everybody who is thinking about going the community college route, is to ask what type of articulation agreements or what type of agreements are in place. Because I really hate for students to go through a program and just think they're going to naturally transfer, and they get to the end of the program and really only half the credit hours transfer. So that's something I try to make sure, I tell a lot of students to make sure that up front. So just about that, the specific network management, some of the things that we go over is computer networking, storage, building networks, things of that nature. You know, with a network management degree, I often hear what type of jobs are available, what can I do? Like I mentioned earlier, you know, jobs like a network engineer or a network operations center analyst, often called a NOC analyst, network technician, field engineer, or a network analyst. There's several different jobs you can do with a network management degree. I'm often asked also, where can I work? So I know currently we have students at all these companies right now doing internships. Several of them have gone on to get, you know, full-time jobs if they don't decide to transfer to a 4-year university. A lot of them, once they intern, they're fortunate enough to get on with a lot of companies, Cisco, Lenovo, Verizon, and things like that. So I always ask students, really, if you're thinking about a community college route, really try to be forward thinking on if it's whether you want to transfer or if you're looking to possibly go into a career, because that will really decide on what courses you need to be taking and things of that nature. And I know with our particular program, what's really important now, we offer it pretty much all around Wake County. It's offered in RTP in Southern Wake County, and also in North Raleigh. This program could be completed all online, which is really important right now with all the things that are going on. It can be completed all online. Currently, we have all of our students are online. We probably roughly have about 350 students in the network management program specifically, and about 5,000 in the IT division. So it's a pretty big division. And that is really all the information I wanted to go on. I really didn't want to take a lot of time. So if anybody has any questions, I'm always open for questions. I did want to, I said for me during this time of COVID, just a fun fact is on the screen now is a copy of my book cover. I was kind of bored over the summer and decided to write, or actually in quarantine, and just finished writing a network and security fundamentals book that was adopted by Wake Tech and will probably be used next spring. So that's my shameless plug, I guess. But Tony, I didn't have much more. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer any questions. And let me stop right there.
Can you put your book back up there?
I can.
I was trying to get a picture of that.
Yeah, let me.
Now, where can we get the book?
Let's see. I just got an ISBN like last week, so probably in January.
Okay, and it'll be available on.
Yep, it'll be available on all outlets.
Okay, pretty much anywhere. Okay.
Yep.
Well, congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I wanted to use this quarantine time. Everybody kept complaining, but I said I wanted to try to do something
productive.
Productive, exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me see if we have questions. So, any questions for Al on the Wake Tech IT program? Any questions? And this could be for anybody, high school, college, and professional, because what you just shared, I mean, I have some coworkers who have been through the program and have gone back to school to reskill and retool. And
if I can be honest, so I've been the director there for about 2 years. And when I first started as the director, our president said that, a lot of students from NC State, Carolina, are now going back and obtaining associate degrees. And that's one thing I would have never thought. And then in this particular role, I can honestly say my phone blows up all the time with new graduates from Central, A&T, North Carolina State even, who have gone to school and maybe didn't know what they wanted to do, but they know they wanted to graduate. So they've gone to school, they've graduated, and now they're like, well, you know what? I think I figured it out. So that's why I really cherish this opportunity to let students know to really think about what you want to do, if you can, at a high school level. Because I know a lot of students who, as soon as they graduate, they're like, well, I'm gonna go back to community college to kind of, pick up an associate's degree and maybe change directions. So that's just something I kind of want to throw out there.
Yeah, that's very good information, Al, because artificial intelligence, data science, I mean, those are all the buzzwords of the workplace today. Now, we do have a question for you, Al. It says, does Wake Tech do tuition reciprocity with South Carolina? So if someone is from out of state, how does that work? Is they pay out of state tuition or? They do. Okay. So we do have a out of state tuition, but I know our tuition rates are very, very competitive. They are, yeah. Like I said, I know ECU probably right now is the biggest one because we've had that articulation agreement so long, but we probably have, if someone's obtaining let's say they offer a networking degree at ECU, several students call me to take my networking classes over the summer and then just transfer them back to ECU, just because it's much cheaper than taking the classes at ECU. Okay, and do you know how those classes would maybe transfer to schools in other states, like neighboring states? How have you had that experience? Like,
I haven't.
okay,
It's usually one off. And that's why I say I'm really available to do research on it. If someone contacts me, I really do research on it. Just like our articulation agreement with A&T, that's fairly new. But I know all the classes in our curriculum, they have similar classes. So I can start seeing in the near future students that go to A&T might do the same thing, just as a way to save money on tuition.
all right. Let me see if we have any other questions in there. So Al, are you able to provide, I guess, an email address if people want to connect with you and just put
Yep.
that in the chat?
Yep, I sure can.
Now, if students like, if there's students like high school students now that are going through Wake Tech or interested in Wake Tech, they can actually do a 2-year program and transfer to, you said A&T now, NC State, ECU. And what degrees is that? I know we're just talking about the STEM one. Was that pretty much other ones as well?
Yep. So the thing is, if you're interested in a particular program, the best thing to do is to ask what agreements does that program have with various schools.
Okay.
Yep. And I always tell everybody, make sure they do that. So with our particular program, the network management program, again, we have agreements with ECU, A&T, Western Governors, Wesleyan. And what that simply means is that if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to get this degree and then transfer to A&T, I can tell them up front how many hours we're going to transfer.
Okay.
Right. Now they can always transfer to a school we don't have an agreement with, but I don't know how many credits they'll accept. Right. So that's what you really want to ask. And that varies from program to program. Just like I know in our engineering program, because it's an applied science degree, that almost pairs with almost every 4-year college in North Carolina.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Al, thank you for sharing with us tonight. Do we have any Wake Tech students that want to give us the student version, the student experience? the skinny.
Right.
We can get the skinny version from everybody else. Al brought us the administrative version, which is great.
Right.
Anybody want to share?
I guess I can say a few things.
Okay, you want to come on camera, Andre? You want to stay incognito?
Yeah, I'll stay incognito this time.
All right. Okay.
Okay. I would recommend staying close with your counselor, of course. And as long as you stay in contact with them, you should be all right. And Wake Tech, they offer like tutoring basically for just about any class, from physics to English, any math, from pre-calc, calculus, just about anything, even few computer classes, engineering classes.
And Andre, you've been there. You just got started, so how's it been?
Oh, it's been pretty good.
Okay, great.
So yeah, I would say use that to your advantage. They can help you out. If you struggling even before you struggle, make sure to like set up set up an appointment so somebody can help you groups or one-on-one with classes you're in. So that's about it.
Okay, wonderful. And Andre was our NSBE Jr. Vice President, and hopefully we'll have a chapter for him over there soon. If not, then you guys can join the Research Triangle Collegiates, which is just a community group of students who are at schools that don't have a NSBE Jr. chapter yet, but we want them to stay connected so they can continue to benefit from the NSBE benefits and features like the scholarships, the networking, and access to companies. So I am gonna move us forward a little bit, and I know a lot of this we covered in our Walk for Education that we had this summer. So I'm skipping some slides here, but I do want to make sure that we cover this a little bit here. The full roadmap to learning starts with preschool, 5th grade. Students are exploring the world. By middle school, they're discovering what they like. By high school, you know what you're good at, and then by college, you should be developing those skills. And that's what we hope everyone here on the call tonight is gaining an understanding of. I don't know where you are or where your intent is in that journey, but that's pretty much what the journey, the roadmap is like to learning. And I would also like to point out, we won't have time to fit this in, but I would like to ask at another time if Share Wednesday can come back and do a similar version of this for the elementary school students, because she's a teacher and she presented a wealth of information on what students can be doing earlier in life to set them up for success in middle school and high school. And she and her husband and her kids are involved in NSBE, and they are, like, I guess you could say, a walking testament of what you see on this slide and what we're talking about tonight. So I'm very excited to see what Jonathan Winstead II, as he says it, and Sage will be doing in about 10 years. All right, so just a few final tips for choosing your college. What am I good at? What are my personal preferences? Meaning that your location, your environment, geographically, what type of support you need, what kind of learning experience do you want, small school, large school, community college, HBCU, PWI, religious base, what college is accredited for what I want to study. I hear a lot of students who just, they're all excited about go Hills, go WFAC, but make sure your school that you're choosing is accredited in what you want to study. Find out how many students are graduating in that degree and where are they working. So that's how you really, make sure you check the box on that and kind of help you decide. Make sure they had what you want. Make sure they're accredited. It's a good school for you to go to in that area. And then also, what are their admission requirements? I do kind of have a summary slide in here that has that. So we'll be sending this out. And what funds are available for me to attend here? What would it cost me? What unique experiences will I get for my expense? Right now in the virtual world, a lot of school is going to be at home. So, the tuition cost for your brand, that's basically what you'll be paying for, is the brand of the school. And just make sure you discuss with your family on, what's going to be a best decision for you. Build your personal brand in high school. Understand that starts from taking time to be involved in the community. We heard our panelists tonight say they were in summer camps and immersion programs. Some of them started gaining just hands-on experiences with the kind of jobs that they chose, and to gain, more practical time. For example, if you're interested in cars, maybe you should work at Advanced Auto versus McDonald's. Or if you're interested in teaching, maybe you should volunteer with a daycare versus, work in the retail. So finding those opportunities to help you gain more knowledge with the area that you want to be a part of. And then just overall college readiness. Here's some links. Like I said, we will
It's a gamer
send this
chair. It's
out.
meant for just sitting down for long periods of time.
Someone is not on mute there. Let me see who that is. Okay, thanks, I got it. So making sure that you have a roadmap. I need to update this slide here, but the FAFSA just opened October 1st, I believe it was. So if you are a senior, you should be applying. Your family can go ahead and look at the FAFSA and start putting that information in there. If you need help with that, you can actually call them. They'll help you get that filled out. There is free college application week. I think it's 2 weeks coming up this month. So if you're from North Carolina or you want to go to a school in North Carolina, you can apply for free to those schools that are participating October the 19th through the 30th, I believe it is. If there's someone from the NSBE chapter that can pull that up real quick and put that in the chat, please do so. Just search Free College App Week in North Carolina and put that link so the students can benefit from that. So not all schools participate, but there's quite a few that do. And during that time frame, it's free to apply. A lot of students are kind of relaxed about the SAT and ACT because it's been waived for some schools. I will warn you though, it may not always be waived. And then also, if you don't take a standardized test, then that means the only data point that the university will have for you will be your GPA and your grades. So make sure that you don't need to take the SAT and the ACT, that your grades will be well enough that you feel confident that you can get in the schools that you want to get into on grades alone. So keep that in mind. Some students may still need to take the SAT or ACT to have another measure of their performance. So please keep that in mind. And you can go to ACT, SAT, College Board, that site to find out what's coming up. I know we just had a SAT test. I think it was like October 3rd. But if you are in NSBE Jr, we have a college readiness calendar, and we put those dates out there for the students to be able to stay ahead of that. And do study for that. Don't just kind of wing it. There's apps out there. There's a lot of free content out there. Please take time to study for the standardized test. All right. I do think I hear some background noise. If you are not on mute, please put yourself on mute. Let me see if I can just do it here. All right. Funds for college. Now, one myth that students tend to think is that they can only apply for scholarships during certain times of the year. This is not true. There are scholarships available every month. Every month, there are scholarships available, and sometimes new scholarships come out, and then there's scholarships that are regular scholarships that come out all the time. So I have provided a couple of places and books and ways for you to find money. The FAFSA is going to give parents and students the possibility of grants like the Pell Grant and work study. And I do advise people to do the FAFSA every year. I know some parents will say, well, we won't get anything. Still do it every year because the qualifications could change based on what's going on. Even like now, if students needed more money, in some cases, they were able to go back and apply for more funding as a result of COVID-19. There is a book called the Ultimate Scholarship Book. I have it on another slide. They bring this book out every year. Every year there's a new version of it, and it looks like a phone book from New York. But it's big because it has a lot of, it's like an index. And in the back, you kind of look through it and figure out the filters and the attributes that you meet. And then in the front, it tells you what pages to go to look for the scholarship information and how to apply. So I do know, as I mentioned earlier, I knew a student that got like $90,000 worth of scholarships. That was one of the sources that that student used. And also, think about your own connections with your place of worship, community connections, where your parents work, even where you work. So if you're in high school and you're working to save money and to just kind of, pay for your own belongings and things, work somewhere where they offer scholarships. McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, Burger King, Starbucks. Work somewhere where they have a scholarship program that can help you go to school. Also, a lot of myths. I don't have the grades, and my parents, make too much money, I won't qualify. there's still scholarships out there for those situations as well. And make the most out of technology to look for scholarships. There's apps, and I'm going to show some of those in a moment here. And set a time aside to regularly search. I know a lot of times people don't make time to do this, and they just kind of wait to the end. But set a time aside. Have some excellent reference letters. Like get some people who know you well, teachers, mentors, people you work with in the community, to write good reference letters for you, and you can recycle those letters and use them for multiple scholarships, and track the deadlines of those scholarships. So here is the Ultimate Scholarship book that I mentioned earlier. And then on the left, actually this was just this week, if you go to Infinite Scholars, they do have multiple cities. This is a web-based virtual scholarship forum. If you go to, let me see, infinitescholar.org, you will see different dates of when you can register for this to find out about different scholarships. I don't know if if there's a cost to go or not, but someone sent that to me, and I've seen this come around every year. But like I said, it doesn't hurt, even if you have to pay something to get access to, you know, $80,000-$90,000. I think it would be worth it. Also, if you're going to a HBCU, a private HBCU, Thurgood Marshall College Fund, I do believe it's only private. That is a resource. It's an untapped resource. If you're in high school, go ahead and start looking at that, because there's certain criteria of the school and for yourself. Yes.
They did open that up. It's some private. It's a lot of private, but it does public. I know A&T has partners with Thurgood Marshall College.
Oh, okay. So A&T is in it. Okay. All right. Excellent. That's good to know. Maybe it's UNCF. One of them I think is just private.
Yeah, it's more of UNCF. It's more of UNCF.
Yeah,
but they
UNCF
offer any HBCU scholarships as well.
Wonderful. That's good to know. And then also, I do know that Thurgood Marshall partners with companies. Actually, John Deere, and I just by accident, I didn't even notice when I first did, but this is a friend of mine, and this is one of our chicks. John Deere is a part of the Thurgood Marshall corporate sponsor group, and there's other companies. So those students will also get access to internships as well. So that's a great plus for that. And NSBE, if you're on this phone, then and you're not a NSBE member, you should be, because you have access to scholarships in the NSBE portal. I was actually in there today, and there are like 4 scholarships for high school seniors that have been posted that have a deadline of January the 8th. One of them was like a $9,000 scholarship. I forgot which company it was, but they're giving out 10 of them. So if you are a NSBE member or you're interested in NSBE, go ahead and get your dues paid if you haven't, and get your GPA verification done, because you have to have completed that in order to apply for the scholarships. So if you're on the call and you're a NSBE Junior member, please email me your unofficial transcript and pay your dues if you haven't done that, and we can get your verification done so you can go ahead and start applying for scholarships for next year. So that's for seniors. And this is Chris Gray. You may have seen him on Shark Tank. He developed an app called My Scholarly, or you can go to the website myscholarly.com. After he had to prepare for college, and grew up in a household, single mom. I think he might have been a first-gen college student. Realizing, how much it was going to cost, and the process that he chose, he productionized that, developed this app, received over $1 million worth of scholarships, and he decided to, go ahead and make that a business and a way to help other students. So there is money out there, and I would advise you strongly, choose scholarships and take the time to look for them before you decide to just sign up for student loans. Student loan debt is growing. It's becoming a little out of control. Students who take out loans right now, I think they're averaging paying back between $60,000 and $70,000 for their education. So when you get out of school, They used to give you up to 10 years. I don't even know if they give you that long now, but you could be paying $600 a month in student loans when you graduate. And you have to start paying them within 6 months after graduation. If you don't pay them, you can have some terrible credit if you don't work on a plan and have a way to do that. So really take some serious time to calculate what you're actually going to need. And there are calculators that will help you with this, and come up with a finance plan for your education. So I'm going to pause. I know we covered a lot. I'm just going to pause for a moment to see if there are any questions on anything that was said. All right, I do know there were some universities that we did not speak about tonight, but the ones that you see on the screen, I don't have North Carolina Central
Can you
University.
hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is Kother. I'm sorry, I have been having problems with the Zoom and my phone. Everything has been glitching on me.
Okay.
Two things I wanted to kind of mention out is if we have a lot of the high school students or people that need help with all the SATs and ACT prep, we recently we're going to start a tutoring program where we have either professionals or college students help our NSBE Jr chapter with all their STEM related questions or STEM related homework. I know everybody's doing like homeschool, like online school, and it might be a little bit challenging. So hopefully we can send out the link for that soon. And then another thing is to talk about TNCF. TNCF is actually for Thurgood Marshall College Fund, is for public HBCUs. So okay. I think it was like 50 public universities they're allowed to participate. They might have few private HBCUs that can be involved, but majority of the time their scholarships and their development programs are for public HBCUs.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. All right, I think there's some questions that are coming in. If you can take a look at those, Kotha, for me in the chat as we wrap up. I do want to, I know we didn't really get to talk too much about careers, but I want to take just a few minutes to just kind of do a career check. So please put in the chat if you're already working in a STEM field, please put that in the chat so students will know who's on that they can connect with. Maybe you can exchange contact information. Just put your major and if you want to say where you work, put that in the chat so the students will know who's on the call. Maybe there's somebody, and maybe you've already been doing this throughout the call, but maybe there's someone interested in knowing more about your particular field and you know, how it was for you and what you did. But just to kind of wrap us up a little bit, I am going to show a quick clip of something that we're starting. It's called Careers on Camera. And what we're doing is basically creating a virtual version of a career day. Since students are in the virtual world, they're not able to visit jobs and do job shadowing. They're not able to, you know, go to a career day at their school where they would actually get to meet and talk to people and ask them questions about their job and what they do. So to kind of kick this off, I'm going to show a quick little video of our first career cam, and this is Dedrick Bob. He is a member of our chapter. Let me see if I can get this to play real quick for us.
Good morning. My name is Dedrick Bob. I'm a project engineer. I have a degree in civil and environmental engineering, and I'm going to show you what I do at work today. My day usually starts around about 6:30. I usually get to the site and just look at plans and talk to the foremen. But today I'm going to show you what an asphalt overlay is. Asphalt overlay is usually the black stuff that you see on the ground when you drive. Right here, we did water line replacement, 550 feet of DIP, which is ductile iron pipe. And as you can see, we dug a trench. This is the old asphalt. We're gonna make this some new asphalt. So we had to dig a trench about 6 feet to put some water pipe in. These are called excavators. They're kind of hard to operate. But once you get the hang of it, you probably can do it yourself. Right here, we're grading. And this is what the liking is getting prepped, getting ready for the asphalt. As you can tell earlier, it was kind of to the top. We have to mill down 4 inches so the asphalt can lay down. This is a paving machine. This is what we're going to use to pave with the asphalt. That's what it looks like once the asphalt is laid down and is rolled.
So that's pretty much all we have for tonight. Are there any final questions that we didn't get answered from anyone on the call? All right, and if you are a student and you are trying to determine where you want to go to school, put something in the chat just so we'll know who's out there and who we need to kind of stay connected with. Let us know what you're thinking about, what major you're possibly thinking about, what school you may be thinking about, and share that with us as well. So hopefully tonight was informative for you and you learned a lot. Thank you for coming. What we will do, if you have not registered for tonight, please do so. And we'll send out the presentation as well as a recording from tonight's session. And you'll be able to go back and take a look at this and kind of go through the links in a little bit more detail. So let me just see if there's anybody that wants to have any final closing remarks. Let me see if I have any NSBE Jr. members in. Jairus, anything you want to say as we close out as our president?
I don't think I have anything to say.
Oh, we did have that announcement. What was the announcement, Jairus? That was one announcement. Let me grab that real quick. It was about the event that's coming up, like at the middle school.
Oh, okay. So I helped organize an event with my old middle school to come and talk to the 8th graders about NSBE Jr. Maybe have like a NSBE professional or just somebody come and talk to them about different engineering and STEM opportunities, careers, that type of thing. Just more some exposure, or maybe if some of them already know that what they want to do, they can ask specific questions, and we could if possible, because the time they meet is during the week.
Okay.
And we still have school right now. So for those who could possibly be there to
a middle school. Oh.
Yes, also offer offer a chance to show them like
you gotta move away from people. You gotta take your mask off.
Okay, hold on, Jairus. Let me mute the phone.
Get away.
Hold on. All right, now let me unmute you, Jairus. Try that again here. Okay, Jairus, unmute yourself and go ahead and continue. So you really need some people to volunteer and help with that?
Yeah, if you
Okay.
want to help with that, maybe like just show up there, maybe like add a couple of cents in about maybe some opportunities or things that you learned from being at NSBE Jr. And just some things that you learned in general that could help them.
Okay, so you need a few NSBE Junior members to volunteer and help you pull together. I think it's like about an hour. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Pull together some content for this, and then we can schedule a time to do it. So, Giles, if you could put your email address in the chat, and NSBE Junior members, if you're able, maybe we can get like maybe 2 or 3 to work with Giles on that. Shoot him an email so we can start pulling that together next week. And if you know your NSBE email address.
Yes, I do.
All right, put that in the chat.
Let me know.
Okay, put that in the chat. If you're interested in helping Jairus pull together a presentation for middle school students about NSBE Junior and just kind of talking to them about STEM, please let us know. You can be in middle school yourself. It doesn't just have to be high school students. If you're interested and able to do so, we would appreciate it. One other quick announcement I do want to mention as well is that the SciFest is still taking place. SciFest is a national science fair. It's going to be taking place until October the 31st. This is how you can register at usasciencefestival.org. The DC NSBE professionals have a booth there, and it's just amazing. We've had a watch party last Friday. Some of us got together and just kind of went through some of the booths. One thing I will say is that this is the first time I've seen Black STEM characters, meaning Black STEM scientists. Can you imagine Mr. Rogers or some of you probably don't remember Captain Kangaroo, but basically they're Black scientists who are, doing experiments and doing magic with STEM. So they have quite a few there on the STEM stage. It's free to attend, and they have activities and experiments and content from grades K through college, actually, but mainly K through 12. They do have a career area as well. So that's still going on. And if you are interested, all you do is go to usasciencefestival.org and register, and then you get access to this portal where you can kind of walk through all these different types of experiments. If you like NASA, there's a lot of NASA stuff out there. The life sciences you can explore. So I want to make sure people know about that. And again, if you are interested in being added to the NSBE Junior distribution list, you can do that at NSBE Junior at nsbertp.org. And that is it. We do still have our website, our event website up. If you have questions about voting, you can go to rtpnsbe.org and look for the Our Votes Matter event. The event was earlier this week, but the page is still up and it has a lot of links that will answer questions that you may have about voting. And we will continue to update that. And that is it for tonight. I appreciate you all coming out, and hopefully this information was very helpful for you. Have a great one. Take care.
Ms. Tony, you staying for a while?
Yes, I am going to stay on for a moment. I'm going to let everybody we'll let everybody clear out a little bit first.
Yes. Oh, I do it because I know I can. Stems in my heart, and are the master's plan. I do it because I love it, because I know I can. Stems in my heart, and are the master's plan. This is a rhyme. innovation. I'm advocating it for every generation. It's what we need for elevation and navigation to our next destination. We have no fear of math calculation, chemical formulation, or scientific notation. Banneker, Walker, and Carver use their imagination and brain stimulation to birth a new creation. Therefore, I know through STEM education, I will excel with a strong foundation and change the world with a new revelation to lead us all to the next destination. I do it because I do it because I know I can. STEM's in my heart, and a part of the master's plan. I do it because I do it because I know I can. STEM's in my heart, and a part of the master's plan. Master's plan.
2 + 2 is 4. Oh, you didn't know. NSBE Jr, yeah, we rocking out the dough. Go on, get the grades, go on, make the A's. Standardized test, yeah, we knocking out for days. Engineers, that's who we be. We poppin' on the scene, whole reaching too deep. Go on, catch this wave, go on, make a move. You missing out if you don't fall through. Yeah, go on, get with it. Yeah, go on, get jiggy. Yeah, sign up now for only $5.50. Yeah, cause we stemmed out. Cause we stemmed out. Cause we stemmed out. Cause we stemmed.
Because I love it, because I know I can. STEM's in my heart, and a part of the master's plan. I do it because I love it, because I know I can. STEM's in my heart, and a part of the master's plan.
Okay, knowledge yourself, that's true wealth. Take care of your fam, that's true health. Hit the books and get to this paper. Know your plan. Gotta know your major. Self-help books for kids to be reading. Mentoring and tutoring for kids that we lead in. Start early, yo, learn something every day. Your future's bright.
Because I love it, because I know I can. STEM's in my heart, and a part of the master's plan. I do it because I love it, because I know I can. STEM's in my heart, and a part of the master's plan.
Shine so bright, you could use candelas with a flow so tight. Make the whole world jealous, whole team took flight. Now we all interstellar with a force like steam. Make your whole life better. You can follow any dream in any nightmare. Turn crops into cream, but a crystal clear stand. It's a real tight thing. Engineers aren't rare, but we gotta be aware of the well-stained brains. The limelight might come right, but then again it probably won't nest light. Then what you gonna do when the fun's tight? Since you brought it all night to a gut fight. You ain't gotta listen to me, education made me money. I made hard days sunny with a 4-year degree. Had a full ride mean free. Look, I don't chase money, man, money